Futurama's talking all about coffee in a brand new episode. Let's run through it right here.
It's actually quite good.
You drank it? Gross!
Hey guys, Mike here. Welcome back to my channel for more Futurama content and more pop culture content. Hit the subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, I'm doing weekly Futurama reviews of every episode in the new season, so check them all out as well. This week we had Planet Espresso. Okay, that is one of the best episode titles ever in the history of the show. So good. And another strong episode. I think maybe none of these episodes will necessarily be classics, but I think that's partly the nostalgia for the original 4 seasons. But I did think this was a pretty funny episode. It was a good story. It was really interesting just generally. This episode is all about a coffee planet that the Planet Express crew, well, particularly Professor Farnsworth and Hermes find. And it is a Hermes episode in spirit. I think the first Hermes episode doesn't normally get many centric episodes, but it is good that all of the secondary characters are kind of getting a run at the front of an episode.
Now listen to me, you low-down licky hobbitchuck!
And turn them on.
Interestingly, not the first time Futurama has done a send-up of coffee and coffee culture in an episode. Back in season 4, they had 300 Big Boys. That is the episode where I think Fry drinks 100 coffees and enters hyper speed mode, which is a funny episode from the past. This one is different because it's sort of discussing the origins of coffee, which is really great. And it starts with a hilarious parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Great movie, by the way, that I actually watched for the first time a few weeks ago in IMAX here in Melbourne. I think that's just a coincidence because if I hadn't have seen this movie, I wouldn't have necessarily known that this was a parody of it. But of course, that music is iconic. There are a bunch of chimps running around. They discover the monolith from 2001, and then they discover coffee, which in the original 2001 Space Odyssey, they discover tools. But coffee is the thing that changes everything. There's also an exploration of Hermes' relationship with his dad. I don't believe we've ever seen Hermes' dad before, but it turns out he walked out on Hermes when he was young.
I didn't even know my father was alive!
But not for much longer.
I do kind of like the episodes of Futurama where it's just a setup to hey, we're going around this new planet which has a theme and shenanigans ensue from there. And I think that's pretty much this.
Coffee?
Stop tasting stuff!
As soon as Hermes started talking about how his dad walked out on him and his dad's on his deathbed now, I really did see in advance that they were going for another sentimental style episode. Hermes also had a father-son episode last season with How the West Was 10101 with his son Dwight, which I thought was pretty weak and forced. And to be honest, I thought all the stuff with Hermes' dad in this episode was also a bit weak and forced. At the end of the day, and I might get downvoted for saying this, but I've never really felt like Hermes was the funniest character in the show.
I missed you terribly.
You do everything terribly.
In fact, I'd argue he's probably my least favorite character of the main sort of Planet Express cast. I think the send-up of coffee culture is really funny as well. I live in Melbourne in Australia, which is known for its coffee culture. Everybody here runs on coffee. I think we forget sometimes that caffeine is a drug, and cafe culture is such a big part of this city and what everyone does. You go out and you get a coffee and you go for a walk with the takeaway coffee. All of our lives revolve around coffee here. I think there's a lot of fun here with the ancient beings who are discovering coffee and everything like that. But a lot of these episodes to me feel more have them on in the background kind of episodes and just sort of pay half attention to them. And I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing. There's actually a whole subreddit that's devoted to people who sleep while watching Futurama in the background. And I think there's merit to shows being a sonic or visual wallpaper to life. I was just doing chores around the house while I had this on. I've heard of people having similar behaviors around The Office and The Simpsons where they just have it on because it helps them relax and fall asleep. And I actually think that's really good. Overall, I'm honestly still enjoying this season of Futurama. Again, I think the first episode of the season was terrible, but everything from there has actually been alright. And with only 3 episodes to go, I'm really excited to see what else they have for us over the next 3 weeks. Whew, thanks for watching another Futurama review, guys. I have reviewed the whole season on my channel. I also do South Park reviews and analysis here as well, so check those out if you like. Hey, from there, I would love for you to let me know in the comments, what did you think of this episode? Who was your least favorite character in Futurama? As I said, mine's probably Hermes, but I'd love to know yours down below. As well as that, you can support me on Patreon, and you can also support me on PayPal if you want to make a one-off donation or leave a super chat. It is really important at the moment to help support your favorite favorite independent creators, so I'd love to get some support from some of you guys if you can. I also do a blog. It is all about how pop culture, anxiety, mental health, and being a millennial all intersect with each other, so I would love for you to subscribe to that and get on my mailing list. That is pretty much all from me today, though. I will be back with another video very soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Radio Mike, and this has been the inside of my mind. Catch you later.